My name is John Tavaloni. I'm the 2nd District Supervisor for Riverside County.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Pauley. I've lived in Corona for 80 years.
Hi, I'm Ken Calvert, and I've had a long association with the Corona Norco YMCA.
Hello, my name is Michael Lynn. I'm the superintendent for the Corona Norco Unified School District.
Hi everyone, I'm John Zickafoos, better known as Mr. Z. I serve on the Corona Norco School Board and also a board member on the Corona Norco YMCA.
Hi, you know who I am. I'm Yolanda Carrillo, and I help run the Corona Norco Family YMCA.
My name is Eugene Montanez, and I currently serve on the Corona City Council, and my wife Paula and I also own Allegra Marketing Print and Mail here in Corona.
I'm Bobby Spiegel. I'm the CEO for the Corona Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, my name is Stan Grube. I've been in Corona since 1966.
Robert Hemborg, owner of Hemborg Ford in Norco, formerly of Corona. Welcome to the YMCA brunch and concert and the Ira Calvert Distinguished Service Award banquet.
So were you around when the YMCA was?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was around when everything began.
Really?
Before Christ. Seen a lot of changes, a lot of people come and go. I first met Cal in the latter part of 1947. An instant friendship, a hearty handshake and a ready smile. I don't believe Cal ever met a stranger.
My father didn't, in his own way, he didn't ask people to do things. And maybe he thought he asked them to do things, but he was pretty much, this is what you're going to do. And my mom was everybody's treasurer. She was everybody's bookkeeper. Certainly in our family business, she was really the person behind the scenes that, everybody remembers my dad, but my mom was the one that handled the money.
Well, she was a driver. Even though Cal appeared to be the boss in the family, I'll guarantee you that he wasn't the boss, so.
Marsha was a fine lady. She was originally a nurse, and but when they had the Corona Bowl out there, she worked right alongside of Cal. She was a hard worker.
I knew Marsha very, very well. She was a sweetheart. I remember Ira because both Ken and I were 3 or 4 years apart. I'm a little older than him. But what is so similar about Ken and I and Ira and my dad is that both our families own bowling alleys.
I met Marsha in 1997. Marsha was one of the most inspirational community members I've ever met in my life, and I know everybody here knows that. She held my hand, she walked me through the community, she introduced me to people. She was so kind, so willing to help, and she understood numbers and she understood the books, and she knew exactly where the Y was at.
And through all the committees and going through the history, all the committees, the various committees, a lot of the names I recognized from the past and knew, and a lot of them I didn't. But the one name that always stood out, Ira Calvert, was always part of the committee, because I know by fact that when I moved from Corona to Norco and brought Hemborg Ford to Norco, he wouldn't talk to me for a year and a half. He was so upset. That's how tenacious and positive or protective he was of Corona, and anybody who would desert Corona was a deserter. So anyway, that was his. That's his legacy.
The history of the Y here in Corona is interesting because it started out very small. And then when Ira and Marsha Calvert really took over and helped the Y grow and get the property on River Road, that really allowed the Y to start a whole new chapter and really grow to what it is today.
So let me tell you a little bit about back at the beginning.
I can remember in my youth young babies coming over to my mom's and dad's house to learn how to swim. They had a program to teach kids how to swim, and they started them out as little babies.
He started with the YMCA with Al Valesco years and years ago. And those of you that know Al, or knew Al Valesco, would know how long ago that is.
Ira Calvert was always part of the struggle to keep the Y alive. That was started in 1963 in a storefront on 6th Street in the old theater building, and went through 34 years of ups and downs. Several times they thought they were going to go bankrupt and out of business.
You know, the facilities were, in the early days, were virtually non-existent. They struggled to get people together to raise money to build a new facility there on River Road. And even after they built that, they had ongoing challenges to get money to operate the facility from day to day.
And my secretary said Cal Calvert called and wanted to meet with me. Well, I knew what that meant. And so when Cal came in, it was not, are you going to, it was how much. And he said, I need $10,000 from you, and I said, okay, and that was it. So from there on, and then later on, Bob Henninger and I decided, or wanted to recognize this gentleman for what he had done. And we talked about the Ira Calvert Memorial Fund, which we initiated, and it still is in effect today.
You know, the Rams are back in town, and when the Rams were in Anaheim, Cal was a season ticket holder. I had the chance to go to several Rams games with Cal. We had great fun. When Cal worked, he worked hard, but when he played hard. Cal was a very successful businessman, a great community activist, but he couldn't have accomplished all the things he did without the help of his wife, Marsha. Marsha worked right alongside of him, and she certainly deserves part of the credit.
Marsha, I just knew that she was everywhere. She was always keeping an eye on Ken to make sure that he was at every event and make sure he won his elections. She had to make sure he won his election. I'm just kidding, Ken. Just kidding. When I had the opportunity to talk to Marsha, it was so obvious how very proud she was of Ken, and that's what's so wonderful about watching Ken and the Calvert family, is that he is carrying on the great legacy of his family, and doing so in a way that I know both his parents are extremely proud from about.
And my mom and dad's association with the YMCA was really a lifetime endeavor. They believed, my mom and dad both had tough childhoods. My mom was a foster child for a period of time. My dad lived, it was a tough existence, living on a ranch in Texas before the war during the Depression, and both left home at an early age and struggled to make it on their own. And so to them, helping kids make it was their #1 objective. And so they spent their prosperity and their lives to help young people. They felt that was the most important thing, to make sure that kids had an opportunity to get ahead and to have a prosperous life and to give back to their community. And so that was their hope and their dream and the reality of what they did in their lifetime. So I certainly appreciate what they did.
So Marsha herself told me the story of the Calvert family. And it really touched my heart. And when I got to know all the circumstances, I could really see how ingrained the purpose and the value of the Y was to her. I came from very humble beginnings, and I know what those feelings are, and I know if I hadn't had the parents I had, what a struggle it would have been. I was very fortunate to have a stay-at-home mother, and today, kids aren't afforded that opportunity. And mainly, they live with one parent or the other. Sometimes they live with grandparents. Sometimes they live bunched up together in one residence. It's a rough go. And when you live in an environment like that, you do need help. Just because you're not getting everything that you could have, like other children.
My first contact with the YMCA was in 1938. They had a camp over in Catalina called Camp Fox. And so my grandfather paid my way to go to Camp Fox. It was $15 for 10 days, included everything. And I went to Camp Fox in 1938, 39, 40, and 41. And it was one of the finest experiences of my life. I really enjoyed the YMCA and going to camp over there. It was really a very nice experience.
So YMCA is a critical partnership for the school district. We have been working collaboratively with the Y for a number of years, and I think when you think about the Y, for me personally, I think about really the continuity of really developing children at a much younger age, and as far as learning and having the depth of knowledge and eventually successful to graduate from our school system, prepare for the future. It begins actually pre-K, and so the program that the Y offers in a variety of locations and partnering with our school district is critical to instill the fundamental knowledge and to teach the desire and the love to learn. And it starts from the Y.
Well, the Corona Norco YMCA is just a great partner with the Corona Norco School District because they absolutely prepare our children before they even get into kindergarten, and they're ready day one. So the Y just reaches out to those families, gets them prepped, gets those kids prepped, ready to go, so they're good to go the first day of school. And it not only helps those kids, it helps all the kids in the classroom because now they're more attentive, they're ready to roll, ready to learn, thus making it easier on those teachers in the classroom. And it's a positive effect on every child in the classroom. So the Y is just an amazing partner in that, in prepping our kids, getting them ready, getting them focused, and moving towards lifelong learning.
Oh my gosh. After school programs, preschool programs, more and more, it's not uncommon today for mom and dad to work, dual family workers. That preschool need to drop their kids off at a qualified preschool, that their kids can be at a safe environment, but at the same time safe where they're going to learn.
Well, research will show you that by the age of 9, if you're not literate in both language arts, comprehension, reading, writing, and mathematics, the chances of you staying behind by threefold by the time you get to the 8th grade is certainly there. And there, like I said, there are research, abundance of research that shows that. Any preparation prior to coming into our school system, it's only going to help the children succeed. And again, both in the area of social emotional, how you adapt and work with others, behavior, those type of things that falls under the social emotional, it's critical, but also just the academic foundation. When you go to the pre-K schools, and the more preparation they have, the better it is for all of us in the school district, and ultimately for the success of these kids and their families.
So, there's been hundreds, if not thousands, of children that have gone through the YMCA. I'm just amazed at what the difference and what happens. We had the pleasure and the honor to have my grandson that actually went into the YMCA for a very short period of time. And it was such a critical time And Yolanda shared with me why they let the kids use scissors, because that helps build muscles and helps the kids understand and be able to write better. Today at 6 years old, my grandson has almost perfect penmanship because of the YMCA and small little things. Those are the hidden nuggets that are available through the YMCA. And you know, it doesn't matter how long a child is in the program, the love and respect that child has for the program and for their directors. It's just awesome.
I've been the most involved with the Youth in Government program. Being able to see the teenagers involved here in the local community, and then they actually take these bills that they create and that they have in their heart, issues that they firmly believe in, and they take them to Sacramento, and they take over the entire Capitol for the weekend. And being able to see how they really take hold of that and the leadership that they're able to demonstrate with that enables them to have the confidence that when they want to go to college, they're not afraid to actually put in applications to four-year universities that they would have never dreamed of going to before. And then seeing the light in their eyes when they see the acceptance letters coming in for these different schools, that's priceless.
You know, when you have a consistent relationship with the child and they know they can depend on you, just picture yourself in second grade getting off the van or the bus, and you don't go home because there's nobody home, but you go to the Y, and you get to the Y, and you got the same person there that you can depend on, and the same staff, the same rules, the same home with no disruption. That creates that safety net, that value, that creates the character in that child, that he lives in a world that cares about him.
Because this is a way to help young people move in the right direction. It's an opportunity for kids to make the right decisions in life before it's too late. It's a lot cheaper to get kids moving the right direction early on than it is to incarcerate them for doing the wrong thing later on. So it's my hope that we can keep kids going the right way.
When they're involved with the YMCA, they are not getting into trouble. They are actually growing and becoming active participants within the community.
Well, I think if you take a look at the macro of the YMCA and just think about it, why I had not been here, how many lives would not have been affected positively.
As I got to know Yolanda Carrillo as the executive director, when she started 20 years ago, we had one site that took care of the kids. Today there are 10. Over 1,500 kids are helped and serviced through the Corona Norco Family YMCA on a daily basis. Hundreds of thousands of man-hours, of volunteer hours are put together through her team of volunteers. She's gone from a couple of employees up to over 160 employees. So it's a big business when it compares to all the other businesses in our community. Where it helps our community because Yolanda is a tremendous advocate for children, and she makes sure that their rights are looked after. There's never a child turned away because of a financial need. They will find the resources, and they will make sure that those children are taken care of.
They're being exposed to opportunities that a lot of kids wouldn't get. So it's another one of the facets that folks don't know a lot about that the Y does, that's just so powerful and quite frankly, I believe life-changing for a lot of those students. So we're absolutely behind it 100%.
We've been involved from the time I was elected in '94, well, actually took office in '95, and to this day. And seriously involved when we met Yolanda. I called her by another first name for the first couple of years, and she kept reminding me of that because in this business you meet a lot of people, and it was just hard to get to know everybody at first. But Yolanda and I became immediate friends. Yolanda and my staff became immediate friends, and we just knew from the beginning that our goals matched each other's, and that was to serve the kids of the 2nd District.
What I do mainly, or why I do it, is because I started out because I wanted to help children who come from poverty. Homes where there aren't many opportunities, there's not a lot of learning that goes on, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of strife, and I wanted to make their lives easier.
A teenager. A little bit more than a teenager, but I'll take that.
He's a football player and a camera player.
Yolanda is absolutely the driving force behind the YMCA, and when she took over, and a lot of folks don't know this, the YMCA was close to shutting its doors. I mean, they were broke. It was before I was on the board, but it was close to not existing anymore, and she pulled it up from its bootstraps, if you will, saved it, got it going, and has turned it into a thriving organization. And our Y is different really than most Ys. We're not a physical education Y. It's not a gym. It's about caring about families. It's about prepping our kids, getting them ready for school, which is why we're so committed to it, because it's a partnership that benefits us in the Corona Norco district because our students are ready to go. And that happens because of Yolanda.
I've seen her in action. She is not only someone who's creative, like John said, but I think the difference is she's a doer. She will come up with ideas, and she will then raise her hand and say, I'll take that voluntarily, and I'll do something with it. And she'll run with it. And so whenever an idea either comes from her or someone else, when she says, I'll get behind it, it gets done. There's no doubt about it, it gets done. I will even use the word intentional, focused, relentless even.
Well, Yolanda's, she loves kids, and she's doesn't take no for an answer, and she moves ahead, and I like that. She has a lot of drive. She has a great personality. People love her, and she does a great job. And I don't think the YMCA would be where it is today if it wasn't for her leadership and her passion to help kids.
Yeah, Yolanda's she's involved in everything.
If I could clone Yolanda Carrillo, I'd figure out a way to do it.
So I just want to share that this last year, the YMCA was recognized by the Chamber of Commerce as the outstanding nonprofit for the entire community. And it was a very simple decision because we saw the impact. Yolanda and her team actually went out and helped other nonprofits to succeed, whether it was helping them with check-in at an event, or whether they ran an auction, or whether they helped stuff bags for something. Yolanda understands the importance of the community, and she went ahead and took the leadership skills that Marsha and Ira Calvert bestowed upon her, and enabling her to advance. And now we're asking you to do the same thing.
There's a lot of opportunities for everybody to be involved with the Y. You can actually join the Y as a mentor. Yolanda and the board would welcome you to be a participant on the board. The Y needs your help.
I've belonged to the Rotary Club for 57 years, and before that I was in the Young Men's Service Club for 11 years, the 2030 Club. And so I belonged to a service club for over 65 years, and it makes you feel good to help other people that are less fortunate than you are.
The YMCA has a lot of different programs, and there's mentoring. So if you can't financially write a check, perhaps you could give of your time.
You only have so much time to devote to things, but it is important to help out as much as you can.
Somebody who gives of their time, their resources, however you want to encapsulate that, I think grows in themselves. Because there again, if we are only concerned about me, John Zickafoos, Michael Lynn, you're not going to go far. And life just isn't about that. Life is absolutely too short. It's over in a blink of an eye.
Does any unsung heroes pop into your mind? Somebody that does things that doesn't get a credit or fame, anything like that?
Boy, I'd be unfair to mention just one. There are many. It takes a team. It takes a team effort to make an organization work.
Everybody that's here tonight is making a difference. They're making our community a better community, making our country a better country, and making young people make the right decisions. So I want to thank everyone for what they're doing. They're doing a fantastic job.
We're all temporary, we're all fleeting, and the only thing that lives on are memories. And so the YMCA could be a legacy. If you can talk about the importance of leaving a legacy, a positive legacy around that.
Oh my gosh. I think for anyone who is in a leadership position, whether you are the general manager of the local Arco AMPM at the corner of First and Main, or whether you are the executive director of the Corona Norco YMCA like Yolanda, or whether you are the county supervisor of the 2nd District of Riverside County or Congressman Ken Calvert, it's all about leadership. And all you want to do is do what's right for that organization or the organization that you represent. And do it ethically, professionally, and in the end, be able to go home at night and go to sleep and knowing that you've done the best that you can and worked as hard as you can for the people that you serve. And in the end of the day, if you've done that, then you should be confident that you've left a legacy when you leave.
And we've all been to services, to funerals, and at the end of the day, you've never heard, oh my gosh, she was worth so much money. Oh, and her cars were beautiful, and oh, the house he owned was, just so lavishly decorated. You've never heard that. What you hear and have heard is that he or she was part of community, cared about other people, how he or she gave, how they laughed, how they lived, how they loved, and not just themselves, but truly one another. So at the end of the day, I think we all need to pull back our own reins while we're still here on this earth and think about, okay, how can I be part of more than just me?
Yeah, we had one gal at Rotary Club, and says, well, when you get older, what's the most important thing? And I said, it's the same thing as when you're younger. It's attitude. You got to have a positive attitude. Doesn't change.
When you're born and when you die, those are two dates that you really don't have control over, but what you have control over is the dash, the hyphen in between on your tombstone. And I guess the Calverts truly epitomize what the dash is all about, because they live their life for others, helping others. And even though they're gone today, they're not gone. Their legacy lives on. And more people are learning about the Calvert family and about the true love that they have for human beings and people in our community. What's nice is that the Corona Norco Family YMCA has chosen to go ahead and have an annual event that embraces these founders of our local YMCA.
The Calverts are the one that always come to the top, and having the Calvert name associated with the Y over all these years, and then Ken staying in touch is just pure gold.
I just followed that tradition to help the YMCA as much as I can, and this is my hometown. This is where I live. This is where I plan to be the rest of my life, and I want to make sure this Y, as successful Y as it is, continues to be a success in our community.
So if your mother and father were looking above, what do you think, you know, they're looking down at the YMCA, I'm sure, what do you think they'd have to say?
Well, they probably wouldn't think I'm doing enough, you know. My mom and dad weren't easily satisfied, and so they would say, you know, get to work and do more.
Ira was just a tremendous visionary. He came up with an idea, and he was kind of like a mentor to so many people, but what I loved about him is that he would be the first to actually do the action. So if we were doing a fundraiser and maybe wanting to raise money for the building, it was his check or his donation first, so that when he went out and talked to other people, he'd say, would you join me? And it really set the example.
Ira Calvert would be stunned, amazed, and proud that he was part of the effort to keep the Y alive for the last 34 years, or 34 years leading up to Yolanda taking over, and that his legacy is still alive and well. A very tenacious person, and when he had an idea and a goal, you better stand out of his way.
We all want to leave something, you know, that they'll remember us by when we leave. And of course, like I've said before, Cal was a guy that really cared about Corona and really made it a better place for all of us.
Well, you know, we get into a philosophical discussion about this, but it's true. Everyone, it's easy to be born. You know, you're born, and we all are going to die. You know, there's a wise philosopher once said, none of us get out alive. So it's really what we do in between the time we're born and to the time we die.
Many people ask, well, John, why did you enter politics 22 years ago? And is it for personal reasons? Is it personal gain? No. I did so because I wanted to give back to my community. And most importantly, I did so because I wanted to see the children of our county, our cities, have a better future.
People literally come to us and say, you know what, I see what you guys are doing and it's so powerful. I want to be a part of that. And you get that momentum, and it's strong. And people want to, you know, pick up that shovel and do that work and get involved and be a part of something there again that is bigger than themselves and something that's of a positive nature, that's doing something good. So I would encourage any of you who are sitting out here looking at this video today to you know, hit up any of the board members, or you're probably Yolanda, and say, you know what, this is something I've thought about and I'd love to be a part of.
You need to contribute in any way you can to the community and to your country. And that's what we try to teach people from a young age, is to pass it along, to make it a better society tomorrow for everyone in this country than you had today.
I think my message that I'd like to tell everybody is that, you know, people think I have a lot of energy and that I do a lot of things, and I do, but for me, it's really just the way I live my life. It's because I love what I do, and I urge all of you to pick up and find something that you love to do, because then it's not really work, it's really helping.
If I could just do one little thing, and that's to help create a better future for children of our county, then that's one thing I wanted to do. And that would be one thing, that would be the message that I would like to send to the audience who are listening today, is that we've made great strides, but we still have a challenging future ahead. And do whatever you can to help make your children and your children's children and your grandchildren's future a much better place than we have left it for ourselves.
When I was a kid in the hills, you know, running around with my buddies, you know, a small town, orange groves and lemon groves, and to now where we live in a very large community with a lot of opportunities for young people, community college here now. Take advantage of it, and the people that are in that room are making it happen. The people that are there tonight are making a difference in our town, and continue to do that, because you know, giving to your community makes you feel good, makes us all feel good.
This one is really special because it was one man's dream, Ira Calvert, who started it, and he had his mate with him, Marsha, who was incredibly instrumental in making sure that the Y did happen. And then to have the follow-up, their son and their proud parents of a Corona congressman. We're all lucky, we're all here today, mainly because of the Calvert family. And in closing, I just want to say, Ken, you have been tremendous, and you won't be forgotten. Thank you so much for everything you've done, for not just the Y, but the community at large.
Thank you to everybody who is supporting the YMCA and supporting today's event, and just wish that Ira could have been here to enjoy it with us. Thank you.